Hey, it's Lee for On Your Marks Wrestling, and I'm here with a Royal Rumble review for 2019. I almost forgot what year it was. That's because I'm very tired. This show was so damn long, and it didn't have to be. And with all of that, they still didn't have an Intercontinental Championship match. It's very, very strange. It had a 2-hour pre-show. I still don't get that either. Thankfully, and I'm going to say thankfully, I got a call from my parents around that time, so I actually didn't watch much of the pre-show. It was playing in the background while I was speaking with my parents. I did get the results. Bobby Roode and Chad Gable beat a combination, and I didn't get to hear the story of this, but a combination of Razor, I believe, from Authors of Pain, and Scott Dawson. So I don't know if there's an injury in play here or what was going on. I didn't get to see the preview, as I previously mentioned. The next match was Rusev versus Nakamura. And I'm not going to give any rankings on these because, again, I don't know the whole story. But it was kind of a repeat of a previous story with Rusev accidentally knocking Lana off of the apron, resulting in a distraction, and Nakamura getting the pin. So Shinsuke Nakamura wins. That's kind of cool, I guess. I'm okay with it. Okay. The next match, I accidentally wrote that it was a 5-way, but that's because I put Kalisto in it twice. But it's a 205 Live kind of featured match with Kalisto, Hideo Itami, according to my list, Kalisto again, Akira Tozawa, and Buddy Murphy. This, even though I was on the phone, looked like a better match. Had a lot of going on. At the very end of it, though, Buddy Murphy did emerge victorious, and that's cool because that guy's about the best thing on that brand right now. So the first match of the night was a very good match. In fact, I have it ranked as my best match of the night. It was Becky Lynch versus Asuka. This match had a bit of everything. Lots of good strikes, cool submission attempts. I thought it was just about perfect. There were moments where I was like, I don't even know what was wrong with it, but there were moments where I said, this isn't as good as what I saw yesterday for a lot of the matches. So I'm comparing it to NXT TakeOver, which is completely unfair. But in the end, I gave this match an 8.5 out of 10. Asuka won with a submission that we haven't seen from her yet. Looked a little bit like the Last Chancery that Austin Aries used to do. It looked cool. It looked painful. It seemed like Becky Lynch seemed justified to tap out to it. So I thought that was perfect. 8.5 out of 10. Very strong mark. Very good match. Great way to start the show. The second match of the night was the Miz and Shane McMahon versus the Bar match for the Tag Team Championships on SmackDown. I thought this match was okay. I feel like it was a necessary evil to get someone else to hold the belts for a while. Just because it's been the Bar. The Bar had it a lot on Raw beforehand, and then they came to SmackDown and won it as well. But it was the Bar, the Usos, and New Day, and it was just kind of a rotation between those three. You need to interject more teams, and even though I'm not a huge fan of having Shane McMahon in there, The Miz kind of deserves to have a title on him. He's been pretty good for a long time, so I was okay with it. I don't think it's going to last forever, but as a match at Royal Rumble, it's fine. I gave it a 7 out of 10. It's okay. Nothing bad about it. Next match was Ronda Rousey versus Sasha Banks, and I like this match quite a bit. Ronda Rousey had a couple really nice moves. There were tiny moments of awkwardness, but overall, really quite good. At the end of it, Sasha Banks got a lot of offense in, which was really nice to see. Lots of submission attempts and things like that, so it was kind of like trying to beat her at her own game kind of deal. I thought it was really strong. Not quite the energy level of the first match of the night, but really, really close. I actually thought this was the second best match of the night. I gave it an 8 out of 10. And Ronda Rousey did win in the end. I think the predictable result kind of hurt the match. Everybody knew that Ronda Rousey was going to win that one. A lot of tonight I found was quite predictable. And the only match that really, really wasn't predictable, at least in terms of the bigger matches, was the Becky Lynch versus Asuka match. There was I think some people believe that Becky Lynch might have won it. Even then, I still thought Asuka was going to win, but it was close. So the next match was the Women's Royal Rumble. Just referring to my notes because I keep forgetting it was such a long show. The Women's Royal Rumble was an interesting match. Started with Lacey Evans, who actually lasted a long time. I thought they let a lot of the NXT call-ups, I don't think they're actual call-ups, but NXT people that showed up, I think, well, obviously Lacey Evans is, really kind of shine a bit. Everybody got their moments. There's a bit of a comedy spot in the middle with, what's her name? Maria Kanellis. I don't know. I didn't like it that much, but it was fine. Every Royal Rumble has comedy spots. At the end of the day, there was some sloppiness, but I thought the stories were mostly well told. The big storyline in it was, I kind of liked it. It was a callback to the pre-show where Lana hurt her ankle when Rusev knocked her off the apron. Basically, it resulted in her barely being able to make, or not even being able to make it to the ring. And then Becky Lynch comes in and she kind of forces her way into the match. And at the very end of the match, you had Charlotte, you had Nia Jax, and you had Becky Lynch. Nia Jax gets eliminated by a combination of Charlotte and Becky Lynch. Then Nia Jax injures Lynch's knee, but at the very end, even though Lynch is the underdog, she manages to get rid of Charlotte, so Lynch wins. The ending, I thought kind of worked. I was told that it wasn't great. I didn't hate it. It was okay. The next match after that was AJ Styles versus Daniel Bryan, and it was a really good technical match, but it didn't belong in that slot. It just kind of didn't work, and it was for the championship. The match was like lots of submission attempts, not a ton of other stuff. It picked up a little bit as it went along. It felt a little too long. Granted, I think any match between those two has to be long because they're so technically gifted. They're going to make some magic happen. And the match did get better as it went along. The problem is, I should mention, I gave the Women's Royal Rumble a 7.5 out of 10. The problem with this match is that the energy in the crowd was actually really high coming off of the Women's Royal Rumble. And this thing kind of killed it right from the get-go. It was kind of slow moving for the first 5 minutes or so. So it kind of just didn't fit. But at the end it was picking up. And then it had kind of messed up finish with Eric Rowan making a comeback, kind of dressed in plaid and helping Daniel Bryan win the match. So that was kind of interesting. I guess it's kind of I don't even want to say like a rejoining of old forces, because I know that they both used to be in the Wyatt family for about a month. Or maybe not even a month, maybe a week. But it's nice to see Rowan back, I guess. He's always injured, it seems. But here's my thing. I kind of hated it the way it was. But if this leads to a Bray Wyatt-related storyline that actually kind of matters, because I know he's apparently healthy now, I'm totally okay with this. So it's kind of this is an incomplete mark. I'm going to give 7.5 out of 10 to this match as well, just because the technical work was beautiful. It's just that it just lacked everything else. If anything, I'd go lower. If someone said like you have to pick 7 or 8, I'd probably pick 7. But 7.5, whatever. The next match was Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar. I like this match. It was kind of the opposite of a lot of the small guy versus Brock Lesnar matches where Brock Lesnar dominates forever and all this stuff. And then eventually the small guy kind of gets back into it, but Lesnar finds a way in the end. In this one, it was Balor attacking right from the get-go. Balor being dominant. Lesnar getting injured on the outside. It looked painful. He actually was run into the corner of a table. I know he chose which speed to go into it. I wouldn't have gone that fast. And they even made a callback to his diverticulitis. and this table hit him right in the stomach, so it seemed to make a lot of sense. I liked it. Balor showed a ton of offense in this. He even hit his coup de grace, but it was turned into a Kimura, which he kind of fought out of for a really long time before actually giving up. Everyone knew what the result of this match would be. The fact that they gave so much offense to Finn Balor is at least showing him a little bit of respect, which some people have said he doesn't get much. I thought it was pretty fair based on the fact that they needed to have this result. Granted, I would have loved a weird result. I would have loved Balor to beat Lesnar. What a weird but great story you could have told there with a guy who could probably be your biggest star if he won that match and if you built him properly. So, I don't know, but I actually thought this was about as good as they could do. I gave this an 8 out of 10. I thought it was really solid. And then you got the Men's Royal Rumble. And the Men's Royal Rumble started with, again, a lot of filler. It was Elias and Jeff Jarrett came out to a big pop. I like that. But then they kind of booked Elias as a bad guy, and he's been booked as a good guy for a while. It was very strange. It felt out of place. He made fun of the town. That was how he got popular. But he went away from that once he became kind of a good guy. But all of a sudden he made fun of the town again. And then he attacked the old guy. It just, I don't know. Didn't sit well with me. The match, I honestly didn't really enjoy it too much. I feel like they went less than 2 minutes between entrants because the show was going so long. The most notable kind of early entrance certainly was Seth Rollins came in pretty early. I think everybody going into this said either Seth Rollins or Braun Strowman win. I think I sent the odds I had to a friend, and I said, or to Robert actually of the channel, and I said it was Rollins 45% chance of winning, Strowman 45% chance of winning, Drew McIntyre 5% chance of winning, and other 5%. And I felt pretty confident in that. You had the typical Kofi Kingston cool move. Oh, I should mention, in the Women's Royal Rumble, Naomi had a really nice save, an impressive save. There was also one from, and I don't know what her name is, she was a former American Ninja Warrior person. It was also pretty good, but I certainly thought the Naomi one was very entertaining. So back to this one, there's a Kofi Kingston save, like usual. I don't get that excited for these things. I feel like, if you land on the ground, you land on the ground. If it was a matter of something, I don't mind the ones where he kind of finds something to jump on that is clearly not the ground, but when they have something like he landed on his back on the ground, but his feet never touched, to me that's an elimination. Maybe it's just me. I know it adds more storylines, but I just don't care. This match, nothing really stood out to me. So Rollins was in there for a long time. Mustafa Ali was actually in there for a long time. Samoa Joe did a lot of damage while he was in there, so that was cool. They kind of built him up. But at the end, you did get Strowman in there. Rollins was kind of put through a table by Bobby Lashley, which resulted in him being kind of out of the match for 10 minutes. And then Strowman threw his shoulder into the post, which put him out of the match for 5 minutes. So they disappeared for a while, which kind of cleared a path for Nia Jax attacking R-Truth and getting the 30th spot in there. And at first she's kind of dominant, and then all the guys took a turn beating her up, which is strange, but I'm actually okay with the decision to go that route, just to say, hey, these women can hang with the men, they can take bumps, we can do this, and it wasn't kind of over the top, but she got hit by quite a few moves, including an RKO. Once she was eliminated, though, then Strowman and Rollins came back in, and there was a Dolph Ziggler eliminating Drew McIntyre spot, which is kind of expected. And eventually it was Ziggler and Rollins versus Strowman. And at the very, very end, it was Strowman and Rollins. And Rollins manages to eliminate Strowman and wins the chance to go for the Universal title or maybe WWE title at WrestleMania. This match, I don't think will go down as one of the better Royal Rumbles. The Women's Royal Rumble I actually thought was better than the Men's Royal Rumble. The Royal Rumble might have been the most boring match of the night, and it's not like it was terrible. I can't even specify a specific thing I didn't like about it, but it did nothing for me. I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. So, yeah, that was the night. Not the worst pay-per-view I've ever seen. Actually, quite a few matches that were at least acceptable to pretty good. I would probably rank the whole thing at a 7.5 out of 10, which is pretty strong for a main roster event. Certainly no takeover, but anybody who watches takeovers knows that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I should mention some not really surprise entrance, but we did see a couple of NXT guys in the Royal Rumble. There was Aleister Black and Johnny Gargano made an appearance. In the women's, there was also there are quite a few, Rhea Ripley, and which is NXT UK, and there's also Candice LeRae and a Chinese girl I've never seen. I know she was in the Mae Young Classic, but I couldn't remember her name. But yeah, there's quite a few surprise entrants, but nothing kind of crazy. No people from outside of the organization, which I was maybe expecting to see. But yeah, like I said, overall, pretty decent show. Probably about an hour too long. But I don't know. I'll take it compared to a lot of other pay-per-views we've been seeing. All right, thanks for watching.